We're not making the payment, and we don't make the numbers up. They make them up. I wasn't a closer early on. I grew into a closer after getting beat up enough. And there is a big difference between a salesperson and a closer, right? Anybody could sell, anybody can present product, anybody can inform and educate, but to close, you know, I was going into a training once about 6 years ago. I called my dad. My dad's at the desk. Some of you guys know my dad from working at Nissan. And he does a nice job holding gross profit. He's a hammer, old school guy, been in the business since '98. He's not interested in anything other than making gross, right? So I called him. I said, Dad, I'm doing a training today, and it's going to be on holding gross profit, right? And what do you think is the most important bit of advice you could give somebody on holding gross profit? And he didn't even think about it. He said, you just got to ask for it. Sometimes you just got to ask. You know, we assume that because we don't think that makes sense, that they're not going to think it either. We assume that because we know the last customer paid X, this person's rolling in 10 G's, and he's got 2 years left on his lease, that it's not going to make sense to them because we wouldn't do it. Like they always say, we're not making the payment, and we don't make the numbers up. They make them up. See, a big thing, and we've all got it, right? We get the pencil, we look at it, we're staring at it, hoping it changes. Then we go over to the customer, and we've been there. I was there as a rookie. They're like, uh-oh, what's this? I go in blind. I always went on my TOs blind. Sometimes I didn't even know what was on the sheet because it doesn't matter. I detached ownership from it. I didn't make the numbers up. Detaching ownership from the numbers is super important because at the end of the day, your customer made the numbers up. They picked the car out. They're choosing how much money to put down. Their negative equity, if they're in a negative equity situation, they created by the car they picked last time, the amount of money they wanted to finance. They're choosing to either lease, buy, or pay cash. Their credit, which then affects the interest rate or the money factor or the lease program, is based on the way they've paid their bills. They're in charge of all of it.